Did you actually read that yourself? Hey, welcome to the channel. On this video, we're going to be going over 3 misused Bible verses in 2020. So now this isn't going to be a video on hermeneutics or any other $5 words. Now I'm not a theologian, but I was blessed with 2 skills: reading comprehension and critical thinking skills. Let's go. So verse number 1, Philippians 2, 3, and 4 from the Dow International Version basically says, look out for the interests of others. So I've heard this in church before. We should make everybody wear masks because some people might need it. First off, the verse is referring to yourself and what you should be doing, not what you should be forcing other people to do. So you've taken the verse totally backwards. Secondly, you're not thinking about the interests of people who are opposed to mask wearing, like if they have health issues or scientific reasons why they don't think mask wearing should be required. Thirdly, if you want to force people to do something, you're going to want to have evidence as to why they should be forced to do that. Evidence like looking at the curves between 2 different cities that required masks and one that didn't. Also looking at the pros and cons, the health benefits and the health risks of wearing a mask. Now, I did do a video earlier right up here where I went over the word possible. Second verse, Romans 13:1, submit yourself to the governing authorities. Now, some churches are using this for shutting down their churches or other mandates that might be required of them. Now, I already made a video posted right here when it comes to how the policy decisions should be made. So check that out if you want more information there. So who wrote this? It was Paul. Paul was put in jail on many occasions for not submitting himself to the governing authorities. So what did Paul actually mean when he said, submit yourself to the governing authorities? So apparently there might be some exceptions when it comes to this rule or law or whatever you want to call it. Obviously, if the governing authorities want you to go against the will of God, then you shouldn't be following that governing authority. So this makes this kind of almost a gray verse that maybe we'll need to look in other places of the Bible and see if we can find some black and white verses to back up what this is talking about. Take, for instance, Hebrews 10:25, which talks about don't abandon meeting in a group or a church. Now, the first century disciples were put in jail for this a whole bunch. Quick word of caution, don't elevate the government above God. If not, you're going to be in danger of making government an idol. The third verse that I've heard being misused is Leviticus 13 when it talks about quarantine. Now, I haven't heard an authentically biblical Christian use this one, but they do use that to back up why quarantining is okay. So let's break this down again. Quarantining in Leviticus was talking about people who are sick, not healthy people. So we do need to make a distinction there. So since you don't have a biblical foundation for quarantining healthy people, your reasoning should be that of scientific. So let's look at the evidence. So we're going to want to look at times in history or currently, or in last year 2020, when quarantining healthy people was effective, when it actually changed the curve. And again, we can look at other states, other cities, compare them, whether they had quarantining or not quarantining, lockdowns, not lockdowns. We can look at other countries, Sweden versus the US, and we can compare all this information and see if it's actually effective. Again, you have no biblical backup for quarantining healthy people, so you better have some scientific evidence for why you think that should be forced on other people. And when you look at this data, we also need to pay attention to the pros and cons, where there's some unintended consequences when they did this in the other cities, countries, whatever it might be. All right, so in 2020, 3 misused Bible verses, Philippians 2, 3, and 4. We have Romans 13:1, and then we have Leviticus 13. All right, if you liked what you heard, please go ahead and hit the like button. We got a couple other videos over here. Check those out and subscribe. Thanks for watching.